Hey there, it's your host, Cindy Chang, founder of Evolve Consulting Co. and the visionary behind an exciting new venture launching in 2025, making staffing accessible for companies of all sizes. Welcome back to the Fearless Entrepreneurs podcast, where we dive deep into the stories behind Canada's most inspiring brands. Together, we'll uncover how these bold entrepreneurs sparked their dreams, tackled their toughest challenges, and leaned into their fears to achieve success. I'm thrilled you're here, bold enough to embrace the hard truths and inspired to learn from their journeys. Ready to dive in? Let's go. Today, we have a very special guest, Victoria Marshman, here with us. For Victoria, business isn't just about products and profits. It's about legacy, empowerment, and impact. As the co-founder of Mave Chez, she's building more than just a brand. She's honoring the generations of strong women who came before her. Victoria and her business partner, Dani Kagan, named their company after their grandmothers, Mave, and Shayna, Chez, two women who embodied resilience, strength, and generosity. And from that was born stylish, supportive, ethically made slippers designed for women by women and is seen in Vogue, Chatelaine Mag, and the Globe and Mail. Inspired by their own experiences as former competitive dancers and athletes, Victoria and Dani saw a gap in the market. Women needed stylish, supportive slippers that didn't sacrifice comfort for aesthetics. So they created Mave Chez, luxury ergonomic slippers designed for women by women. Their idea struck a chord, leading them to secure a deal on CBC's Dragon's Den and scale their business in ways that they've never imagined. But Victoria's entrepreneurial journey didn't start here. Over the last decade, she has launched and grown 3 businesses, 2 of them with Dani, and she co-founded City Moguls and Stratus Events and helped raise over $30,000 for Canadian charities. At the heart of it all, a commitment to empowering others, whether it's through community building, mentorship, or creating products that make women feel their best. Victoria is proof that when women support each other, build with intention, and step boldly into their purpose, they create legacies that last. Join us today in the Slipper Revolution and discover how Victoria is redefining self-care one step at a time. Welcome, Victoria, to the show.
You weren't lying. Your intros are next level.
Hey, I could see your face like as I was reading them.
I'm like, whenever we write a book one day, you're writing the foreword or something.
Please invite me to write the foreword of your biography.
Yeah, whenever that comes.
Well, every entrepreneur has accomplished so much. So how did that make you feel? Just like taking that all in.
I think a few years ago, it would have made me incredibly uncomfortable. But like now I kind of sit in it and I'm like, yeah. We've done a lot. This is pretty freaking cool. It's pretty cool what you can do in life when you just go for it.
If you look at like yesterday, it really feels like you haven't accomplished much because there's so much more to accomplish. But if you look a year back, like you've accomplished so much, right? And so let's kind of start with the beginning of your journey because you have been a serial entrepreneur pretty much for many, many, many years. And you started out as a dancer and an athlete, the both of you. So let's start there. What kind of built you up to being an entrepreneur?
Dance is my first love. So I always love to start there from the age of like 5 years old. I was like, Mom, I need to be in dance lessons. I was just obsessed. Yeah. It's like, it was born into me. So a few years into dance, I was a really technical dancer, very flexible. So was getting very good and had like that natural talent. But like, I just loved it so much. So I was willing to put in the work ethic. So I do think that's where my entrepreneur journey started. And by the time I was in my teens, I was on the track to being a professional dancer. And that's truly what I felt I wanted growing up. up. And I'm sure, as you know, sports, hockey, you name it, very expensive. I come from modest upbringings, and I remember my parents at like 13, 14, they're like, this is expensive. I don't know if we can keep on this path. Competitive dance is very expensive, and I wanted to go to this prestigious dance studio just outside of Toronto and train there because that's where all the best choreographers and teachers were. And then my dad went bankrupt.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people, when things like that happen as a young person, there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of guilt. My parents were like, we've done everything we could to get you here, but you kind of have to help yourself get it. Pushed me to be like, okay, I can get a job. Yeah. I can work part-time. I can help at my dance studio. I can do a lot of things to help pay for my dancing. Like, this isn't impossible. And that really was where my entrepreneurial journey started.
Was your dad an entrepreneur too?
He's a postal worker. He worked for the post office.
Okay,
just coming off of a very intense strike.
And so that must have been the change for you in your teenage years that really kind of helped shape like the direction that you went, because you could have either gone with that or just been like, no, I want to continue to dance.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think those like decisions when you're young and you're in your early 20s, you kind of look at them and sometimes you'll hold resentment or frustration around it. But I think as you grow, you realize those are like the pivotal moments that really shape you as a human being. Yeah. That lesson was like, put the work ethic, the grit, the resilience in me to just keep going and figure it out along the way. So
you either kind of like embody one or the other type of personality. So you were like, I am not going to take this sitting down. I'm going to go for it. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Good. So did the dance thing, tried professional dance for a few years. Wasn't for me. Like it really took a toll on my body, which is why I'm so passionate about good shoes now. As it would have it, dance kind of led me to meeting Dani. We actually met at the auditions for the dance team at the University of Toronto. Yeah. And her and I ended up becoming co-captains and shortly after best friends.
Incredible.
So that was kind of like a trial run for us of we really love working together. Like we have really great chemistry and we have symbiotic skills, but we're strong at different things. And a few years later, that led to us starting our first business together.
What is your skill that complements her skills? Like, where do you guys balance each other out?
Dani is amazing with visionary stuff. She's such a relationship person. Like, she really is amazing at creating relationships and partnerships. So very much like that visionary, big mindset strategy, whereas I'm very much like operations. I love being organized. I love building and growing people, and also marketing is my zone of genius.
I love that you said that, zone of genius, because everyone has to stay in their zone of genius in order to keep growing and keep developing.
And we do a lot together, but those are things that we're really excellent at. So coming together creates like a super being.
And this is your third business that you've built together with her, which I think that's also pretty surprising because it either makes or breaks friendships. And so you've built 3 with her. So this is just another rodeo for you guys. Has it ever tested your friendship?
Yeah.
On a weekly basis?
This is a marriage. I think the one thing we have is from the get-go of our relationship, there was always this layer of us creating something together. Even though our first thing we did was our dance team, we took that dance team seriously. Yeah. We were like, we're going to have the best dance team in all of Canada. We're going to raise money. We're going to do professional shows. I've reflected on this a lot. I'm like, how have we been doing this for 14 years? And I think it's because of that. Yeah. And also, we treat this like a marriage. We both have our own coaches. We have a coach that also works with both of us. We've gone through a lot, especially in our early days when our egos were a little bit bigger and we were when we were growing as women. We butt heads a lot and had a lot to work through together.
So you guys both individually invest in yourselves and your business by getting coaches separately and together. This is marriage counseling. What prompted you guys to get that? Because a lot of people are just like, when you're young, you start a business, I'm just going to split up. But what made you guys decide that that's the investment that you needed to make to continue?
At the end of the day, our love for each other was always like the number one thing. And we have amazing mentors, and our both big believers in personal growth.
Yeah.
It was about 5-6 years ago, like just before the pandemic, that we were like, maybe it's time that we invest our money in coaches. It's like the same analogy as sports. I would never train myself how to be the best dancer. I would hire somebody that's been doing it for 20, 30 years to teach me all the things.
That is such a good point. Yeah. I made a big investment in myself last year to get a career coach too. And you're right. It does transform yourself as a personal development and also you and your business too. But a lot of business owners are kind of hesitant in doing that for some reason. But the sports thing is such a good analogy because you never are in professional sports or advance the way that you do learning any skills without a teacher. That makes so much sense. I think that is a big takeaway for us here. So let's go back. You just started your first business. You were like professional dancing. I've invested my soul into this.
Yeah.
And it's not for me. Was it any like specific type of dance?
I was a very technical dancer. So I did ballet, jazz, contemporary, lyrical, all of that. I auditioned for the show So You Think You Can Dance Canada when I was about 18. I got really close. Like I got to like top 40 and they're like, we just don't think you're ready yet.
Oh,
I had that experience and I'm so grateful for that. But I think it was a combination of it takes a toll on your body.
For sure.
And I don't think I really understood that until I was doing it 8 to 10 hours a day when I was training to be professional.
Gosh.
Yeah. Like I was already at that time experiencing like back pain and issues with my hips. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm 19. What's going to happen when I'm 30 if I keep doing this? So it was kind of just a reality check and a shift. I can still love dance. It can still be a part of my life. I don't have to do it professionally. So.
And the thing is, it messes with your mind because you're surrounded by professional dancers who just kind of like suck it up and deal with it the entire time. When do you say that's enough for my body because you're around it all the time?
That could also be applied to entrepreneurship.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. We're just making analogies here.
We were both at the same conference today in different locations.
That's so funny.
But burnout came up and it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
This culture of keeping on doing the thing even when you're exhausted and mentally drained. And I've learned this many, many times in dance and entrepreneurship. Like that's great that some people sometimes will wear that as a badge of honor, that hustle culture. And I'm polar opposite, like the school of thought.
I hate that word right now. Hustle. I'm just not into it. I think it's something that has been very new for me because it was in a lot of my verbiage before. And tell me how you feel about this too. It's just that I just don't want to promote and glorify a culture where we're just like working ourselves to death. Like I get the hustling, I get grinding, I get having the grit. Like I think that's just what entrepreneurs do naturally. But to say like hustle, I just think it has one of those connotations that make you feel like you have to work till you die.
As somebody who's been in it and gone through it in so many different versions, I think it's like one of the most toxic ways to think about growing as a human being, because at the end of the day, building all the businesses is really fun.
Yeah.
But pedal to the metal, if you're showing up and you're working yourself to the bone every single day, it catches up with you.
Totally.
Especially as women. This is like the masculine, feminine energy thing, but it does exist. We operate differently. We have uteruses. We have hormones.
Different hormones.
I really think if we keep ignoring how we are naturally supposed to be and not take care and replenish ourselves, it catches up to you and it bites you in the butt and it's so hard to recover from it.
Once you enter burnout, to get back from it, it takes double the work. Yeah. So tell me about the businesses. You're like, professional dancing, not for me anymore. Then how did you kind of transition out and how was that psychologically for you?
I don't know about you when you were in high school, but like, what did you want to be when you grew up?
An actress.
Okay.
And then my mom was like, heck no, as an Asian person, you will be a doctor or a lawyer. So I wanted to be a businesswoman. Like ever since I was little, I was like, all right, I'll pursue what I do know with my gracious personality. Business person.
A business person. I love it. I feel like we were all fed like the similar knowledge, even myself too, with my guidance counselor. She was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I've always wanted to help people. And she's like, you should be a doctor. So I was like, okay. I got into U of T in their life science program. So I was very excited about that. I've always loved the human body anatomy just because of dance and all that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to become a doctor and I'm going to help people. This was the late 2000s. No one's telling you that there's options out there beyond doctor, teacher, accountant, lawyer. Like there's these professionals, and that's what people tell you are your options. Entrepreneurship truthfully wasn't even on the radar for me for years.
For a lot of
so many people, I tried the thing and realized, wow, getting A's in physics is really hard, and pivoted to doing a psychology degree. But I didn't really know what I wanted to do in university. I was loving running the dance team with Dani, and I started, her and I actually, because we ended Stratus Events and City Moguls, the two companies we ended up launching before Mave Chez were events companies.
Okay.
So we actually started to do some small grassroots events while we were in university, like charity fashion shows, dance stuff, because we loved the arts.
Yeah.
We just kept doing that stuff on the side. And then eventually her and I graduated. I did some work for a big charity. I worked for a charity for a few years, Meet We. I was the assistant to the co-founder. So I got to understand what that was and what it took to create your own thing. And then eventually Dani and I, we were best friends, and we just got to a point where we were working for other people and we're like, what the F are we doing? Yeah. We are not meant for this corporate world. We got to get out. This events thing, we were just really good at. So we started an events company.
Because you had been doing small events leading up to it, did you stick with that same, this is just a side thing, but now we're just going to turn it into the real deal?
We shifted that mindset. Like we started doing stuff on the side. We started getting like some small events and some clients that were like, oh, can you help us organize this gala? Can you help us organize this charity event? And we just ended up getting enough clients that eventually Dani was the one that first left her job to work on the business full time. And then 8 months later, I jumped in.
And what industry was Dani in before she jumped in?
She was in experiential marketing, like worked for an agency. She also had a similar role to me and was the assistant to the co-founders of Roots. So we both got that unique experience of working behind the scenes with somebody of a big acumen and seeing what it takes to operate
alongside.
If young people are listening to this, if you're curious about entrepreneurship, like go intern or go work for a startup. Try to get as close as you can to the founder to see what it really takes.
I'm sure it's a very humbling experience.
Humbling. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yes.
We both worked for very narcissistic, like big personality men. And it was a lot of, oh, I'm learning some things. And also, I never want to operate like this in the world. Yes. I never want to treat people like this in the world.
That resonates with me so much because I think growing up as a woman, you don't really know what it is that you want to do. You tend to kind of lean towards big companies that have the stars, the bells, the whistles, but those are typically led by very, very narcissistic male figures. And with that, it's taught me so many lessons. And it was very hard while you're in it, especially as a young person, having so many big dreams and hopes and wanting to generate ideas. But gosh, is it ever humbling and a great learning experience, right?
I remember when I was working at this charity, I was making $35,000 a year.
Oh my gosh.
I was 24, but I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
This is an amazing charity. This is an amazing experience. I'm going to learn so much. And I was barely making minimum wage, but there was this culture of like, you're doing so much good. You're making an impact on the world with all of your work. It was at that job that for the first time actually experienced what burnout felt like. I walked out one day. I was just like, I can't do this anymore.
What rang that bell for you?
I think I was at like one of their big events and was running around doing something and then felt like I was going to pass out. And I could not remember the last time I ate. And I was like, this isn't good. And then I called my mom, as we always do in moments of stress. I was like, Mom, I think I'm actually burnt out. I think I need to go to the hospital. If I can't remember the last time I ate, like it was kind of a wake up call that like I need to get out of this place.
Do you think culture, I know the pendulum is swinging a little bit, but do you feel like there are a lot of organizations that still operate like that?
Haven't been in the corporate world now for a decade, but I can imagine just with how our society is shaped, that you have to climb this corporate ladder and do all of this work. Although I feel like it's different now. I feel like the Gen Zers, they actually have a more self-awareness to not get into those positions.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, first of all, Victoria, thank you for thinking that I'm a part of a Gen Zer, because that's very, very flattering.
No, I meant as we're millennials.
But like, for sure. And that's part of what I do, and the business that I own is to really help companies reshape and rethink work culture and work society.
Interesting.
Because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being a mom and being guilty about it, being a woman and being guilty about climbing the ladder, being a woman and not being paid equally enough. So let's go back to your businesses. So you had the two, which was City Moguls and Stratus Events.
Yeah.
How were they different?
So City Moguls kind of branched out of us producing our own events through Stratus Events. We were being hired through Stratus Events to do big events like the Canadian Arts and Fashion Awards, Toronto Fashion Week when it used to be around. Like with any service-based business, this was back in 2015. Okay. A lot has changed now. But we found it hard to meet and connect with other young entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So City Moguls actually stemmed from wanting to create a cool, unique entrepreneur event. And we used all of this knowledge we had built over the past few years of doing fashion shows and integrating dance and using that like creative part of ourselves to create the Mogul Awards. And it was an award show that celebrated Canada's top entrepreneurs, moguls,
I love that.
In a fashion show for charity. We launched that event in 2016, like instant hit. It was a charity event. Every year we chose a different charity to donate all the proceeds to. It was like Dani and I's like way to give back while also getting to meet all of these incredible entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So we have built that over 4 years and started to do some more like workshops and networking events and stuff like that. But it was a cool thing that kind of just stemmed up from us being like, we want to meet cool entrepreneurs. Let's just put the cool event together.
Each other? Yeah, I love it. Let's do one together.
Yeah.
So Stratus Event was like the mothership.
Yeah.
And then City Moguls was like the charity that supported that to help you feed the funnel of entrepreneurs and meeting them for business development.
Yeah. It was like a great way to organically find clients too. And then the pandemic hits.
I kind of already knew the answer, but like I want to hear it from you. Like, what happened to your eventing business?
I know. There's so many industries that when the pandemic really hit in like March 2020, you were like, okay, what are we going to do? And as we know, it lasted for like 2.5 years, really.
I couldn't believe how long this thing lasted.
I know.
This thing just never ended.
I remember like 2 weeks after like we went into lockdown, we had a call with him and we were talking, we're like, what are we going to do? We could pivot, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, this pandemic is not going anywhere. You're kidding yourself if you think it's going to be gone in a few weeks. What are you going to do with this time? And we put our entrepreneur hats on and we had always wanted to create a product together. Dani and I have like a list of things that we're going to do together in this lifetime. Hopefully we do them all. And creating a product for women was top of the list.
Yeah.
So, we spent like a couple months brainstorming ideas, especially being stuck at home. We were coming up with crazy things. I think at one point it was like we had this like keyboard idea, like at home office, like so many random. But as it happened, Dani got pregnant for the first time during the pandemic.
Okay. She had a COVID baby.
Me too. A couple months into her pregnancy, with both of us being dancers, she started experiencing excruciating pain in her back, knee, and hips.
Yeah.
She called up a podiatrist who is like a foot expert.
Yeah.
And she was like, should I be wearing something on my feet at home? I'm at home all day walking around barefoot. And the podiatrist was like, you need to be wearing something with ergonomic support, like a Birkenstock or a running shoe or something. Yeah. And then Dani was like, okay, are there any slippers you would recommend? Because like it's cold. I don't want to wear Birkenstocks with socks. And Dani had this aha moment. Mm-hmm. The podiatrist was like, I never recommend slippers to my customers and clients because none of them are supportive.
Yeah.
And she literally called me 10 minutes later and she's like, I think I have the idea.
Oh my gosh.
She could have said so many things. I would have been like, yes.
Yeah.
Because this is really her zone of genius.
Yeah.
But we started doing some market research and we were like, there is nothing on the market designed to support women's feet. Stylish and cute.
Yeah.
Actually has ergonomic features. So we just got going.
So Victoria was kind enough to bring some slippers here that will later show on the show. And I feel like my foot is getting a little mini massage while we're chatting here. They are so comfortable.
Yeah.
And like they're velvety and delicious and fuzzy, and they're not sweaty. Like my feet aren't sweaty.
Yeah,
right?
I'm glad, because also know that's my second pair. So I'm like, there's a little bit of my foot imprint in there. So
That's
we must
okay.
have a similar arch footbed or something.
Because it molds to your feet as you wear it.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just unshaping what Victoria has created in her foot. So don't worry about it.
Okay.
And so you guys started the market research. Like, how did this business launch? Because product-based businesses aren't easy to launch, right?
Yes. We knew nothing. The first question people ask us, oh, do you come from a background in footwear? We're like, no. But there was a few things we had learned in building our other businesses. Number one, find the experts, find the people that have done the thing that you want to do before, and figure out a way to pay them and bring them onto your team.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing for us was like, we had this vision of the slipper we wanted to create. So we brought together a team of podiatrists, foot experts, and we found a footwear technician, which is somebody who actually designs shoes from scratch and knows what materials to use. And so he was like the person that brought our vision to life and is still on our team to this day.
And his role was footwear technician?
He's what we call in the footwear industry a shoe-roo. Like a guru of shoes.
Chief shoe officer.
Yeah, we should really change his title to that.
Shoe-roo. Does he like that?
I'm going to ask him on our next call.
Okay.
He'd probably love it.
I love it. And so you got a team of experts together because you guys were not foot experts.
Yeah. And like, I won't kid you, that was like 6 to 8 months of like messy, just calling people, them laughing at us, calling more people, them being like, you guys are insane, calling other people like, how dare you think you can make a slipper like without any foot, just so many doors in our faces.
Yeah, like rejection,
like the audacity of these two women thinking they can create a slipper from scratch.
That just give you the fire to
you betcha.
Do more.
You
Good for you. That's like a mind of an entrepreneur.
So it was finding those people and then finding a factory, which was also just as challenging to create it.
Is the factory here in Canada?
No, it's actually Brazil. So we tried to get our slippers made in Canada because of the technicalities in our slipper. Like we have a washable insole in there.
Yeah.
We have some like technology that would have cost a lot more to make it here in Canada.
Sure. Yeah.
So we wanted to be cognizant of price for the customer and try to keep costs down while also making something ethical and with the best materials possible. So we landed in Brazil.
Why Brazil? I've never really heard that because people usually go into the Asian continents. Yeah.
Yes. So prior to China, Asia dominating the manufacturing industry, Brazil is one of the top places in the world to make shoes because they have amazing access to leathers.
That is really neat.
Yeah.
I love that. And do you ever get a chance to go to Brazil and like see where the leather is sourced? And because I think that's one of your main core values too, is that providing jobs abroad with different communities as well as the sustainability.
Yeah. So before we even went into production, before we even created our first run of inventory, going to our factory was like the number one thing we were going to spend money on. Yeah. Just while we were in the final prototype type stages, we're like, okay, we're going to Brazil. Me, Dani, and our footwear technician, we're going to go. And we spent about 3 weeks down there. Yeah. So we got to meet all of our suppliers, literally the tanneries where the leathers are coming from, the insole makers, the footbed we met everybody.
Love that.
Saw the conditions. What we love about the factory that we work with is Brazil has really strong labor laws. Good. So they're all a part of big unions and stuff. So we would be at our factory. We would literally be working there all day. And, at 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, a bell goes off, the lights shut off, everybody leaves. So 1 o'clock for like 2 hours, they go home, they have lunch. I think they have naps. There's like this European culture there, which I was like, we should probably do this in North America. So to see that with our own eyes was really special because we were like, okay, this is the type of place we want to be making a product.
That is cool. And so how did you go then from finding your production place into like creating your first prototype and like getting this on the market?
Here's the thing with creating a product, and this was like the biggest learning curve, I think, for Dani and I, from going from being service-based entrepreneurs to product. You need so much money. You need capital, and you're kidding yourself unless you come from wealth. If you want to do it properly, if you want to do it right, if you want to make an impact with your business, you have to find capital. So that was a whole new world for us. And we decided we wanted to raise money from investors. We decided we were going to take out a loan. We decided that we were going to take every grant humanly possible to fund this baby to get off the ground.
Okay. And so how did that process start for you in finding all the cash under every rock?
This is like my favorite topic. I feel like we could talk about this for an hour.
You know what? I think this is so valuable for entrepreneurs though, because I think that's the one thing that entrepreneurs, especially female entrepreneurs, let's like be clear about that. It's like, where do people get the money to start businesses? So how did you do it? Let's talk about this.
Okay, so I think the important thing when you're thinking about your business is, what is your end goal? Is this something you want to do for the rest of your life? Is this something you want to sell? Is this something you want to get acquired? You really have to be clear with that, because the only reason an investor is going to come in and want to support your business is if you're trying to build an 8 to 9 figure company and with the intention of wanting to sell it or get it acquired. There's got to be some kind of exit strategy. So number one, you should only be going out and seeking investors if that is your goal. If you're trying to build something big and make a huge impact and also eventually sell, which means you could still be a part of the company. You could still stay on, but there really has to be that kind of like exit plan for your investors, because ultimately they want to make a return on whatever investment they're coming in. So if you've decided that's what you want, the first kind of raise you would want to do as a product business is something called like a pre-seed round. So it's while you're still prototyping, there's no sales or anything like that yet. And the mechanism which you raise money on, because it's hard to evaluate your company, is something called a SAFE. So Y Combinator, which is a big organization in the US. And by the way, I've only learned all this in the last few years, guys. I remember hearing all of this stuff and being like, I don't understand half the terms that are coming out of mentors who are learning this stuff. So a SAFE stands for Simple Agreement for Future Equity. So it's basically like a legally binding agreement with an investor. They're giving you money, they're signing a document, and in the future, once you do an equity raise, which is a different kind of raise, they will get their shares.
Interesting. So it's almost like they're pre-claiming a part of the pie or getting some equity before you even get to that stage.
Exactly.
Okay. So you have to find people that truly believe in what you do.
Yes.
Are you looking through banks? Are you looking through VCs?
In those early days, the banks, the VCs, they're going to laugh at you.
Right.
So you're looking for angel investors.
Okay.
You're looking for friends, family members. Hopefully, you're looking for other entrepreneurs that are successful, that maybe believe in you and have some cash and want to help you get started. But that's where we started. Was just every single person on the face of the earth that we knew. A lot of those first people that invested in us were our mentors, people that have been mentoring and supporting us with our previous ventures and believed in Dani and I as people and what we were capable of. So you never know. You really never know.
Now, speaking of mentors, that was one of my questions for you. The mentor that you had talked about earlier was a male mentor.
Yes.
Was that by design that you chose a male mentor versus a female mentor? Let's kind of like, or was there just no rhyme or reason? You just really like the.
I think it was coincidence. There was no intention behind him being a male or a female. It was kind of just like divine timing.
The reason why I asked that is because there was this one person that I talked to a few years ago that as a female entrepreneur, she specifically chose male mentors to toughen her skin up, because it's not that female mentors or female coaches don't do that, but it's a lot more centered around being in a female framework, that you aren't as aggressive as men, which is true. Like, I think men just kind of go for it and they just have a different mentality.
For sure.
Simply because, as you said in the beginning, they've lived a different path. So I was just wondering if there was like that by design.
The more I think about it, the main reason we really want to have him as our mentor, and he was the one that helped us even get clear on the slipper and all of that in the early days was he had raised a lot of money and exited companies multiple times. So we knew that he had that knowledge of how to do it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
You take from the knowledge that you didn't know that to strengthen like what it is that you needed. I love that. So you built the company up, you started pre-seed rounds.
Yeah.
Like the investment at the beginning is huge because you have to have the product ready for people, trial tested and everything. And then you have to order a whole bunch of product and store it.
There's like an exuberant amount of costs.
Yeah.
I remember when we initially opened our safe round, we were like, we're going to raise $250K.
Yeah.
And then our mentor was like, you're going to double that. You're going to raise 500. We ended up raising 800.
Hey, yes, you did.
Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So people really believed in this idea for you.
People really believed in us, but we also really needed that much money to get to where we are now. I won't beat around the bush. We launched just over 2 years ago. We spent 2.5 years in R&D. So that got us through 3.5 years, which is pretty good when you think about it.
I mean, considering that you guys had just conceptualized this idea during COVID to where you're at now, like it's very impressive.
Yeah. If there's one thing women are good at, we are scrappy as hell.
Right,
I stretch
right?
every one of those dollars. But yeah, it's crazy to think that.
And so out of the $850K, where did you know where to spend the funds? Like so many places it needs to go to. How did you siphon it?
So again, leaning into experts.
Okay.
We've built 2 other companies. We've built financial models, but we were like, we need a fractional CFO. We need somebody that knows how to build financial models, help us build projections, assumptions, forecast all of our expenses. So we hired a fractional CFO. That was like one of our next hires.
Yeah.
So that he's on our team to really meet with us every month, talk about our expenses, our profits. And he was the one in those initial days that helped us be like, this is how much this is going to cost you over the next 2 years with doing all of these things.
Did you ever decide to throw that plan out the window once he did that financial modeling?
It was the same thing. You build all these assumptions and then you get into it and so many things come up that are unforeseen that cost a lot. But at least you have a high level understanding of what things are going to cost and how much you want to spend on marketing and all that. There's a lot of unknowns.
I think as an entrepreneur, you need to have a high level of tolerance for pain because after you review that financial modeling a few times, especially in a product-based business, you're like, what the heck did I get myself into? And now I'm knee deep because I've signed this contract in Brazil and like, what do I do? How did you just keep going with Dani? Because this is like a very, very make or break part of people getting into product-based businesses.
I won't kid you. I don't think it ever stops. Like 2 months ago, we had a similar like, what are we doing? We've sunk so much into this. Like, how are we going to make it through? We had such a successful Q4 in 2024 that January was like when all of the expenses from our successful Q4 came out.
Yeah.
And it kind of just like rocked us. Like we didn't forecast for a lot of those expenses because we like 3x'd what we thought we were going to do in profits.
Congrats.
In December, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But then you also have to think
what
shipping,
it costs to
taxes,
right.
like
Yes,
all
yes.
of these things. We had to pay for like expedited shipping for about 300 of our customers for them to arrive in time for Christmas and like send them extra pairs. Like there was a lot of messiness. Like a month and a half ago, we were in that same headspace, and it comes down to a few things. I think because we are so coached, like I am constantly working on myself and my mindset and how I'm showing up every day. There's like this higher version of myself that comes in when like that fight or flight version of myself comes in and is like, you've got this. Like you can do this. I believe in you. You really have to be your own cheerleader sometimes.
You do.
And thankfully, Dani and I have each other. Like we talk each other. Thankfully, we ebb and flow. Like when I'm ready to jump off the ledge and be like, I've had enough. She's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And like same thing. A couple weeks ago, she like had a full blown panic attack in a car. I talked her off the ledge. We're like, we're going to be fine. It's going to be okay. That is the realities. That is what you sign up for. It's like a performance. Like
Yeah.
and when what you're doing becomes bigger than you, all of the women that are literally like sending us reviews being like, I don't take these off my feet.
Yeah.
They've cured the arthritis in my feet.
Oh, wow.
I've had chronic pain in my feet for years. Now I can finally wear something at home that's comfortable. Like, that's the stuff that I'm like, I will be doing a disservice to the world if I don't give this everything that I've got, because I know there's women out there that desperately need what I've created.
Right. You're making an impact in other people's lives. So that's what keeps you driven. And that's the thing too, is that I think entrepreneurs always have that special sauce of being driven by the fuel of your passion. You know, it impacts people. If it's something that you truly, truly believe in so much, it's hard to give up.
I'm like one of those people that's like sort of spiritual. I love spirituality,
Me
but
too.
I don't really know what all of the signs mean.
Just
but,
whatever.
But I really do believe in the universe and things aligning for you.
Yeah.
And I really believe that if you are given an idea and it's sticking with you and you can't shake it, like there's that fire in your belly that's like, you got to go for this. Like, there's a reason.
Yeah.
You are meant to like birth this thing into the world and like bring it to life.
It's so funny that a lot of people parallel entrepreneurship, like parentship, and also having a baby too.
Yeah.
You've had 3 babies with Dani already. Yes. And so then you guys ended up on Dragon's Den. So how did that happen?
Yes, which is just wild to think about, because how it happened, as so many things in our journeys, it's always in the most unexpected ways. I don't know if you have American listeners, but with Dragon's Den, it's the kind of show that you apply, you audition, and if they like you, then you come and pitch to the dragons, and then you get to be on the show and potentially get a deal or not from the dragons, which are investors. So we didn't apply.
You didn't apply?
No. We had just gotten back from our visit to our factory in Brazil. A few months before that visit, we had done something called a Kickstarter campaign to launch Mave Chez, and that was how we got pre-orders from people to test our product with first.
Yeah.
So we wanted to like not just like go and launch our store right away, because we had created these slippers from scratch. We wanted like a group of a couple hundred people to try them at a discounted price, give us feedback, then we would iterate and then launch.
Yeah.
So that was kind of our like high level plan. So we'd gone back from Brazil. Our inventory was just getting to Canada.
Yeah.
And we were just about to ship it to all of our backers for our Kickstarter campaign. So it was a really exciting time. It was like the first time we were like getting people's feet into Maves and all that.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it. I was talking to my mom in the Go. I was at the Burlington Go, like going to park my car and go downtown. And I see a random number come in while I'm talking to my mom. And something in my belly was like, you need to answer this unknown number. Like, we don't usually answer unknown numbers. We just send them straight to voicemail.
Yeah.
It's like, you need to answer this. So I'm like, Mom, I got to go. Bye. Love you. And I answered the phone. And this woman was like, hi, it's Paula from CBC Dragon's Den. And she's like, we've heard about your company. We've seen what you've been doing on social media. We think you guys have a great story, a great product. We're wondering if you guys would like to be a call up for this season. Okay. So if somebody dropped out, would you guys come in last minute and pitch to the dragons? Of course, I'm like, of course we would want to.
Yeah, you're like shitting your pants and saying yes at this.
The voice in my head is like, what are you doing? You're not ready. You haven't even launched your store. Dani's going to think you're an idiot. Like, it's too early. I'm like, of course we will. Keep me posted. Let me know what I need to do. So I called Dani. We have like one of the craziest moments of our lives. We're like, did Dragon's Den just call us? Like, I still couldn't believe it.
That is so wild.
Yeah. Okay. So a few weeks go by. Now we're just back into the day-to-day grind.
Yeah.
We had officially launched our store a few weeks later.
Okay.
We launched it around Mother's Day. It was really cute. We did like this little launch party.
Yeah.
And literally a day after our launch party, it's a Friday morning. I'm at home in my house in Burlington. Paula calls me. She's like, hey, somebody dropped out this Friday afternoon. Can you be downtown Toronto in 2 hours to film your pitch? I'm not kidding.
What? Like the same day?
Same day, Burlington, rush hour traffic.
Toronto.
Anyways, called Dani. She was like at our warehouse, like, I don't know, sorting through slippers, like hadn't showered. I was like, you don't have time to shower. You got to put some makeup on and you got to go.
Yeah.
And so I drove. She was stalling for me. They're like, hey, is she here soon? Dani's like, yeah, she's just finding parking. I'm, in Mississauga trying to get there. But, I got there just in time.
How did you guys prep for like your finance? Like, you have to do a significant amount of prep work to be on Dragon's Den,
There's
right?
a lot of prep work. So at the same time, like coinciding with that, we were raising money from investors.
Right.
So we were out there pitching. We knew like investors in real life, like on Dragon's Den, investors in real life, like angel investors, they're asking you the same kind of questions. They want to know all of your numbers, what your plans are, your projections, all that. So we felt very confident.
Okay.
And for Dani and I, this was like a full circle moment. This is like the performance of a lifetime. All the dance training since I was 5. And so that's how we got there, which is just wild.
And so what happened on the Dragon's Den?
But what you don't see on the show is you're actually in there for like 2 hours.
Oh my God.
Like the episodes only end up being 6 to 8 minutes.
Yeah.
They're grilling you for like 2 hours.
Stop.
And I remember I had to pee so bad. And I was like, why didn't I go pee before?
All the thoughts in your head the same way. We'll be like, Victoria really had to pee
real bad.
Yeah.
But it went really well. They try to make things. We got like all of the dragons to dance with us. I won't spoil it all because it's like a really fun app. But we ended up getting a deal on the show from 2 of the dragons, Michelle Romano and Vince.
I've heard things about this like post-show too. Is like, do you actually move forward with relationships?
So things progressed really well with Michelle. And to this day, she's been an incredible mentor of ours.
Amazing.
But we didn't end up taking the deal behind the scenes.
So there's like show deal, and then behind the scenes, it's like the relationship that you make of it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I think we knew, we were like, if we get a deal, we're going to negotiate with them. We really want to say yes because we know this is like a great opportunity. So like, let's see what happens from it. That was always the plan for us if we got that, but we didn't know.
Yeah. So don't tell us if you got it or not, but how much money did you ask for and for what percentage of the company?
I think we asked for $300K for 10% of our company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very modest. I like that. You know, just a cool, easy breezy $300K. Now everyone's got to stay tuned to see what they got. I love this. And so let's talk about giving back because that's something that's really important to you as well as Dani. And so this Giving Tuesday, which was this last December, you guys had surprised 20 NICU nurses with Mave Chez slippers. I've watched that video at least 7 times and probably cried 5 out of those 7 times because during this time, first responder workers, they worked so hard. And so what made you choose that initiative and what really kind of inspired that idea?
I think to even take it back just for everybody to think about this who has businesses, like it doesn't matter how small your business is. You can make a ridiculous impact that has like ripples.
Yeah.
And I want to share a quick story for you about like why impact is such a big thing for me.
Yes.
So going back to my early days when I was dancing as a teenager, financially, it was hard. I had an amazing studio owner that was very understanding and waived a couple bills here and there and gave me discounts and all that. And when I was about 17, she called me into her office one day. This was like near the end of the year. And she said, Victoria, I have something for you. And she handed me an envelope. And in the envelope was a letter signed by nobody with a check for a scholarship to help pay for the rest of my dance training. I don't know who it was from. She said,
you don't know.
She said, this is a gift for you. Somebody wanted to give it to you anonymously. I still have the card.
You still have no idea who
and
it
I
is?
still have no idea who it was. I carried a lot of shame around that. I didn't really talk about it for a long time because who in the world would ever give me money to help me with my dance training? They had written me this nice letter. It had to be somebody at the studio, somebody that knew me.
Yeah.
I still don't know. Now I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't want to know because that moment for me was like, when I look back, why I'm so like driven to give back. It changed me. That check showed me that one act of giving, one act of kindness can have these ripple effects that you don't even know are possible. Wow. Dani and I did a lot of give back stuff just out of the goodness of our hearts. But when I really think about it, I'm like, it comes from that experience of receiving this kind gesture.
There's so much to unpack there. First of all, wow. What one gift changed the trajectory of your future? But why do you think there was shame attached to it?
Well, I think, again, it's this thing as women of like, we've talked about it a bit. There's this thing that I think our culture puts in us as women as like asking for help or receiving support. I don't know, somehow it's been taught that it's like some form of weakness.
Yeah.
So I think there was like a level of pride that I was like, I was so grateful for it, but I didn't want to like talk about it or tell any of my friends about it. You know, some of my best friends that have known me since I was dancing at the studio, they didn't know that I had gotten that until like a couple years ago.
Right.
So there was almost like this level of embarrassment that I needed that. But at the same time, like an immense amount of gratitude. And like, I'm so lucky. I need to find a way to pay this back in my future. And I didn't know what that looked like as a teenager.
Forward. And so what was it that switched your mind into thinking and changing the narrative that this is a shame and embarrassment story into this is my empowerment story?
Coaching.
Just changing the mindset, though.
Changing the
I think
mindset.
that's a very big one.
We all have these like stories that have made us who we are as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you have a choice to see yourself as the victim or the hero in the story. And the minute you can rewrite the narrative to be, this has shaped me who I am and this is why I'm unstoppable in this world, that's when the immense growth and opportunities come to you.
The magic happens. Yeah. I've interviewed a lot of entrepreneurs
Mm-hmm.
where they've had a very strong story that could unlock a lot of magic, but a lot of them aren't in their time to share it or do feel that level of comfort in sharing it. Do you feel like that really kind of holds people back from unlocking some of that growth and creativity if they're holding a really big piece of what drives them back?
100%.
Interesting.
It comes back to like being your authentic whole self.
Yeah.
And if there's parts of you that you carry shame about or like hold back, those usually end up being your biggest strengths and are why
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you are feeling like shameful or there's like something you're holding back, like that's a sign that there's something to unpack there. There's work to do there. There's something really there that you can rewrite the narrative on to become one of your strengths.
And also can be the fuel that kind of carries your story forward. Wow, I think that's very powerful.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that.
We like to do a give back campaign every year. Giving the nurses at the NICU ward was actually, as funny as it is, was an idea that our original mentor was like, his twin daughters were at this NICU ward at St. Mike's for 3 months, and he saw how hard these nurses were working, and he planted the seed for us. He's like, have you guys ever thought of like donating some slippers to these incredible nurses? And we're like, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Again, seed planted, we're the executors.
I love it.
Yeah.
That was such a beautiful initiative, and I'm sure they made them, but you coordinated with someone. You know what I thought of the whole time in the thing was, who did you coordinate with to get everyone's sizes?
Yeah. Well, how we had done it was we had reached out to the St. Mike's Foundation and we said we wanted to do this thing. So, you know, the nurses in the video act surprised, but they had actually, they did like a raffle.
Okay.
I think there was like 200 women in the NICU, or not just women, nurses and first care responders, like into a draw, like 200 of them, and 20 names were picked.
Okay.
So then we like coordinated their sizes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, how did
you know,
they magically just know their sizes?
We're like, act surprised. But, you know, they hadn't tried them on yet. So that's always the magic when people first step in them. They're like, oh my God.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. They are really comfy as I'm reshaping Victoria's slippers right now. And so what's next for Mave Chez? What's kind of like your vision, yours and Dani's vision for what's next?
At this point, we're just under 2 years in market, which is crazy.
Yeah.
We have to date over 6,000 customers. We're expanding very rapidly in the U.S. I just got back from a big trip there. And
I saw. Where did you go? I couldn't find it on your stories anymore.
We were at a big trade show, so we were connecting with retailers and getting our slippers into boutiques and stuff in the U.S. So, U.S. is a big part of our strategy. We have the Audrey and the Maya, which are our two styles.
Yeah.
So we have a new style that will be dropping for International Women's Month.
And that's where you went to the trade show in the U.S. to really launch the two innovations alongside with your current styles, right?
Yep.
That's really exciting. So U.S. expansion. Keeping it online, or do you think you'll ever open brick and mortar?
We're in brick and mortar. So over the last 6 to 12 months, we've gotten into some great stores across Canada. One that we're really excited about is we're in the Fairmont in Banff in Quebec City. So if you're on a ski trip in those areas.
So like partnerships with different locations that would be a natural fit. But how about like your own brick and mortar? Would you guys do
own
it?
brick and mortar? It's expensive and retail is just changing so much that I think we'll be ready for it in like probably a few years, maybe even 5 years from now. But it's definitely something Dani and I want.
On the radar. Will you ever launch a men's segment?
Coming soon. It's going to take a long time, but it is a hot request from our mavens.
People want like his and hers.
Yeah, they want like the matching loafers at home. We get it. It's a lot more money has to be raised to do that, which we are working on.
So homage to your grandparents, your grandmas. I think this is so great. And like those are the women that clearly inspired you. Where was that born and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, we've talked about it, and I feel like a theme throughout our chat has really been like this theme of legacy and impact, and all the little things we're doing in the day, they're actually contributing to this like bigger thing as a human being of you creating some kind of impact.
Yeah.
So when we were coming up with a name for the slippers, we wanted to pick something that felt timeless and had that legacy built in. We were like playing around with like different abbreviations of our name, like versions of Victoria and Dani. We're like, this doesn't feel right.
No.
Like we were just doing so many things, and we started pulling out like familiar names. We're like, what are like our grandmother's names? Mavis is actually my dad's mother, and she passed away before I was born.
Never met her.
But like this beautiful, regal British woman, classy lady, raised 6 children, just outstanding human being, and is my middle name. So Mavis is my middle name.
Okay.
And same thing with Dani. Her grandmother's name, Shayna, is her middle name.
Oh, that's cool.
We were like whiteboarding it. We're like Mavis and Shayna, and we started like shortening things. And then eventually we got Mave and Chez, but we didn't like the SH. EY. That was originally how we had it spelled.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Dani's sister that was like, what if you did Chez like home in French?
Yeah.
Because in Yiddish, maven means like expert.
Yeah.
Like connoisseur.
Yeah.
Actually, the name has a double entendre. It means like maven, expert, connoisseur of the home, like Chez in French. So it kind of meant two things. So we saw that and we're like,
that's it.
This is it.
Isn't it so funny that as an entrepreneur, like when an idea is just so bang on, you just can't unwind it.
Yeah.
I love that so much, and it's such a special name, and I'm really glad that it holds a special meaning for yours as well as Dani's hearts as well. Okay, so one thing I did want to talk about really quick is, what was the first hire for you and how scary was that?
Yeah, so after our footwear technician.
Yes, the shuru.
Our shuru. I think the biggest thing that we learned is customers need a lot of love. So our next hire was a customer service person. I think like the biggest thing as founders is you learn a lot from being in customer service, but you should not be the one responding to customers, because you can get so emotional if anyone's just having an off day and decides to take it out on you. So that was like our first hire, customer service.
Great. And how big is your team now?
Our team is about 8 people, 3 full-time and then 5 part-time.
So did you make that into like 2 part-times as 1 full-time person?
Yes. Yeah.
So they're like 5 and a half peoples. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Do you have an office or is everyone remote?
Everyone's remote.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So that's great. So typically I like to end off the session with a rapid fire question to get to know your CEO. So these are just like fun questions. You don't even have to think about them.
Cool.
But maybe you have to think about some of them. Okay. So what's a TV show from your childhood that you'd rewatch in a heartbeat? Just brings back some good memes.
Sailor Moon.
Yes. Have you ever been Sailor Moon for Halloween?
I don't think I have.
This Halloween.
I know exactly who I'm going to ask to be my Sailor Moon gals. There we go.
Is it Dan?
No, she'll probably be.
And her 2 kids.
They can be Luna. One of them
there
can be
you
the cat.
Go. The cat. I love it. What's the first concert you ever went to?
And in the same theme, Backstreet Boys.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And this is a really big question.
Okay.
This is a really big question. What's a dream celebrity collab for Mave Chez?
Okay, I'm putting it in the universe because Dani and I really want it to happen.
Yes, we're going to put it on the podcast, which will go live, which is basically the universe.
Paris Hilton.
Yeah, I love that choice.
She, especially over the last few years, what she's done for her own brand, and she's an amazing entrepreneur. I would encourage you to look at all the incredible things she's doing. We would love to do a collaboration with her.
She needs to do like a biography because she has had quite a life, right?
I would say Paris Hilton, and do you know the ballerina Misty Copeland?
I do not. It's ballerina. Okay.
Like celeb ballerina. We love her.
Okay. We love Misty Copeland.
Yeah.
So Paris Hilton or Misty Copeland, if you're listening, Mave Chez is coming for you.
We're coming.
We're coming. Oh, who's your favorite dragon? Go.
Oh, Michelle Romanow.
Yay!
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hi, Michelle. What's your favorite guilty pleasure snack?
Ooh, I am such a sweets girl, so it's got to be Sour Patch Kids.
Well, that's kind of like sour.
Yeah. But it's sweet at the end.
That's true. That's true. And what's your biggest pinch me moment in business?
Gosh, I mean, I think Dragon's Den.
That was a big one,
That was
right?
a huge pinch me
When
moment.
were you guys on? Like, when did it go live?
So we filmed the episode in May of 2023, but it went live January 2024. Yeah.
Do you think that kind of contributed to a lot of the velocity that you guys built in
Absolutely.
2024?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good PR buzz. What's your personal mantra or life motto?
I have it written down, but I haven't looked at it in a while. Your success is not tied to what you do, but how you live each and every day. It's something like that.
It's really good.
Yeah, that's my
really
abbreviation of it.
It's being present and just live.
Yeah.
And that's what success really is, rather than always forward looking.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
And one word to describe your journey.
Resilience, I think, would be a big one.
When you sign on that dotted line to be an entrepreneur, you best be resilient.
Yeah.
Lots of doors slammed in your face.
Optimistic has gotten me very, very far.
Positivity, right?
Positivity, man.
I love it. Well, you can find Victoria and Dani on Instagram at Mave Chez, as well as Victoria Marshman, which you're pretty active in. On LinkedIn, same Mave Chez, as well as V Marshman. We'll put everything in the show notes, as well as on Facebook. Mave Chez is on there as well. She's going to be launching a group coaching mastermind program designed for female entrepreneurs, which I want to know more about because I think this is going to be a good synergy that we have together. And it's really about giving back to the community and helping other female founders and entrepreneurs. So there's lots of exciting things to join the conversation. And thank you so much for being here and sharing your story.
Thank you, Cindy. This was so fun.
I'm so glad you joined us today for the Fearless Entrepreneurs podcast. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend or someone who could use a little inspiration. You can always reach me, your host, Cindy Chang, directly on Instagram or Spotify DM. I love hearing from you. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a review. It truly means the world to me. Until next time, stay fearless.